We are live.
Good morning and thank you for coming. You were told prior to entering that you must wear your mask. And once you reach the podium, you may take it off. And I'm going to introduce you now so you may come forward. We have Michelle Elda, who is running for State Ohio Board of Education. And before you speak, Ms. Elda, we're going to have our timekeeper, who is Andrea Nelson Ward, explain to you what the cues are. You may come forward. When you leave, put your mask back on. Thank you.
Good morning. You will have 5 minutes to present to the membership. 1 minute for opening, 3 minutes for questions and answers, and then your final minute for closing. I will hold up these signs at the 2-minute mark, the 1-minute mark, 30 seconds, and then when it's all said and done, I will go to the stop. Now you're ready.
Good morning. Just want to thank Black Women's Political Action for inviting me here. I am Michelle O. I'm a candidate for State School Board, District 11. I am a lifelong member of Warrensville Heights. I sat on the local school board in Warrensville for 8 years, as well as the Northeast Regional Executive Committee for 4 years. I have 2 daughters who are, one is a college graduate, one is in her final year of college. I am going to be receiving my master's in social work in December. I am just a proud person to be able to advocate for our students and parents, and this is the reason why I am running for the state board. I have been an active volunteer. I have been going to Washington, D.C. for the last 6 years, advocating on Capitol Hill for public education, making sure that all of our students receive a quality education and a fair education. In addition to that, I have been working with the 3 school districts that are currently under the academic distress, working with them to ensure that they receive the type of funding and education that they receive to get rid of House Bill 70, because as we all see that it's currently not working in our city. I have been a PTO president for over 20-something years. I currently have a cheerleading squad that I have held for over 25 years, working with them. I have been working extremely hard for just public education in general.
Good morning and welcome. You mentioned House Bill 70.
Yes.
For those of the viewing public who are not familiar with that bill, can you give us a brief overview of it and identify why you do not believe that it is working?
So House Bill 70 states that when school districts have many years of not receiving, when they receive an app on their student report card, then the state comes in and the governor appoints a CEO to take over the school district, and then they hire an academic distress committee to replace the local school board to run the schools, because what they're saying is basically what was already in place is currently not working. I personally do not believe that it's working. I'm looking at Youngstown, who's been in it the longest, and then Youngstown, and then Lorraine, and recently East Cleveland, and their scores have gone down. The CEOs that were currently in place has not done anything to produce quality education, just a lot of money being spent. And as a result from all of that, Youngstown currently needs to put a levy on the board because they have exhausted all of their funds.
Should you become a board member, school board member,
Yes.
what would be your approach to get rid of that program?
So one of the approaches that we have been doing is we have gone to in Columbus, and spoke to the Education Senate Committee, expressing our concerns and what it has done and what it has not done. I have been I will continue to go to Youngstown, Lorraine, East Cleveland, and advocate. I'll continue to go to Washington, D.C., and just provide the facts and show them how it's not working and provide an alternative plan.
School vouchers. What is your position on school vouchers, specifically how would a school voucher improve the educational options for inner city youth?
So I believe that if you're going to offer school vouchers, then there needs to be a separate funding for them. I do not believe that we should be taking public education dollars for the school voucher program. It is an alternative way for parents to receive it if they believe that their children are not receiving quality education in their current school district. So I just think that if the vouchers are going to continue, then it needs to be a separate funding for that.
What do you think about the state test for children, and should that state test continue to be a part of the school process?
So I think the state test, my problem with it is that it changes too consistently. By the time that they actually learn it, it changes into something else. I do not believe that the teachers should be forced to teach the test. I think that everyone needs to be held accountable, as a parent, as a teacher, as a student. There needs to be accountability to show that our students are being successful. But I think that we're putting too much emphasis on the state test in order for a child to pass.
Thank you. And if you could just do a summary for us, for the viewing public, please.
So once again, I am Michelle Bell, and I'd just like to thank you all for allowing me to come here and speak. Please remember my name as you go to the ballot on November the 3rd. This is my first time running for state school board, and I believe that everyone deserves a chance to just because you have already sat in the seat does not mean guarantee to sit in the seat. Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Good morning. As you see, we are practicing social distancing. Thank you for cooperating with us. Before you speak, we're going to ask you to remove your mask once you reach the podium. So I'm going to introduce to you this morning. This is Sean Gallagher, who's running for judge, Ohio Court of Appeals in the 8th District. Welcome.
Thank you.
You may come forward, sir. And you may remove your mask when you get to the podium.
Thank you.
And before we speak, we're going to have our timekeeper, who's Andrea Nelson Moore,
Sure.
give you her cues. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You will have a total of 5 minutes to present to the membership, 1 minute for your opening, 3 minutes for question and answer, and 1 minute for closing. I will hold up the sign at the 2-minute mark, and again at the 1-minute mark, and again at the 30-second mark. When it's all said and done, we will ask you to stop.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, whenever you are ready, you may begin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to take this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Judge Sean C. Gallagher. I'm running for re-election to the February 9th term on the Ohio Court of Appeals. I should start out by saying I do not have an opponent. However, I do believe it's important that public officials be responsive to community groups and these organizations, and not just write it off as nothing. So I've been a judge for almost 25 years. I've tried to be as responsive as I can be to the community, the members of the community. I'm a Cleveland resident. I've lived here all my life. Try to work very hard. for my next term. One of which is I'm appointed to the U.S. Sentencing Commission. I believe there have to be some changes made in that respect of the legislature. And I'm also trying to continue my efforts to educate the Ohio judiciary. I'm an instructor with the Ohio Judicial College. I've been for the last 20 years. And those two facets compose my primary drive for running for re-election, as well as trying to continue to do a good job and serve all citizens. Thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome. We appreciate you being here with us so early in the morning. As a Court of Appeals judge, you are charged with the responsibility of reviewing the trial court decisions made by many of your colleagues, with you having been on the bench for 25 years or more. Would you be able to stand on the side of the law, even if it means reversing the decision of your good friend, a fellow judge?
Yes, it's happened many times in my career where you say, gee, I've known Judge X or Judge Y for all these years, but if an error was made in the interest of justice, you got to change it. And I think the professionalism that happens between judges kind of tends to override that at times. Good judges know that we all make mistakes, we can all make errors, and they just want to be treated fairly and respectfully. And I think that does happen in our court. I think we have a really great bench in the Court of Appeals, really dynamic judges that really work together. And we're not out to embarrass anybody, but we do, as you asked, follow the law.
Okay. Search and seizure laws in this country in this county are always being challenged in the Court of Appeals. Is it okay for a vice police officer to stop a vehicle on a traffic stop and then search all occupants and the interior and trunk of the car?
Well, this is always a challenging question in the Fourth Amendment, because certainly police officers do have the right to make traffic stops. And oftentimes this goes to the discretion of police officers as to how far they're going to go. And it's not always all right to search everybody, but sometimes, indeed, it is all right if the circumstances warrant it. And that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the difficult challenges are. Do we have police officers that are professional and guided by an idea that they're going to do things right and fair? Or do we not? And frankly, we as judges have to hold those who don't accountable. That's what it has to be.
Okay.
So I would say, yes, they do, but certainly their conduct should be subject to some level of scrutiny.
How do you respond to the criticism that a Court of Appeals judge needs to have been a trial court judge first in order to understand what goes on the trial bench level of the Court of Appeals?
My answer may surprise you, because I was a trial court judge before I went to the Court of Appeals, but I do not believe it's necessary. I think we've had some phenomenal people come out of our bench that did not serve as trial judges, but really brought an exceptional background that really kind of enhanced the program.
Okay. Well, Judge, it looks like you answered the key questions that I wanted to pose before you today. Would you share some additional information about yourself and to the viewing public?
Yeah, I guess I would just say that as a judge, I mean, it's a very serious responsibility that we have. We don't get to make the policies that the legislature makes. We're tasked with enforcing the law. But certainly, I would tell anybody out there, be focused on who you elect as judges, because they have to have a sensitivity and a focus on what's going on in the greater world to really be effective. We can't make the law, but we better make sure it's fairly and equitably enforced. So I thank you very much. This is my last political event of my career. I'm finished after this, but I respect this group, and whether I get the endorsement or not, I just want to come out and be responsive. That's what people should be. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Raymond Hedden, running for Judge of Ohio Court of Appeals in the 8th District. Judge, you want to come forward? When you get here, I'm going to have Andrea Nelson Moore explain to you the timing. She's our timekeeper. So follow her cues. All right, you may remove your mask.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You will have 5 minutes to present to the membership, 1 minute for your opening, 3 minutes for question and answers, and 1 minute for your closing. I will hold up the sign at the 2-minute mark, the 1-minute mark, and the 30-second mark. And when all of your time is consumed, I will hold up the stop sign.
Wonderful.
All right, so whenever you are ready, you may start.
Thank you. And it's a wonderful morning to be here. Thank you all in the cyberspace world for the opportunity to submit. Big shoes to fill, Justice Melody Stewart. I think you need to recognize, and that's the first thing I did when I got the appointment to the bench, is that I stand on shoulders of many people, including now Justice Stewart, but Pat Blackman and everyone else who's on the bench with me. And because of that, the first thing that I did when I became a judge was to not do the traditional investiture at the county courthouse, but I took it to where I went to elementary school, where I spent my formative years. And my whole purpose of being a judge is to make sure that we give back and to make sure that we have trust in our institutions, in our youngest people, in our kids, boys and girls. And literally, that's where I started off. But the first thing that I did once I took the bench after my investiture is to get it right. And I hope I'm doing a job that Justice Stewart would be appreciative of. We are friends. I have not had a single case overturned by the Ohio Supreme Court. I have done an amazing job being a steward of our county courts to make sure that they've got it right, which is the primary responsibility. But when you've got over 220 opinions rendered and not one of them wrong, I don't see how I could have done a more perfect job. It's 100%, and I appreciate that. I want to be the role model. I want to be a role model to the entire community. Beyond that, though, and this is the most important thing I think that has ever occurred, is that Justice Ron Adrian has said, my work on the sentencing database has brought forth 25 years of his efforts to make sure that there is no institutional racism going on in our courts to prevent African Americans, particularly, from having the information that they are able to judge where they are in terms of the court. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome. We're happy to have you as our guest this morning. I do have a few questions for you.
Absolutely.
First question. As a Court of Appeals judge, you are charged with the responsibility of reviewing the trial court decisions. Although you may not have sat on the bench for an extended period of time, I am very sure that you are familiar with a lot of the judges that are presently sitting on the bench. Therefore, would you be able to stand on the side of the law, even if it means reversing a decision one of your colleagues, a fellow judge, has made?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing more to be said about that. That's my responsibility.
Okay. And as well as that being part of your responsibility, the next question would be, in a civil trial, when is it proper for the trial court to grant a motion for judgment notwithstanding the verdict?
Well, in terms of the authority and discretion of a judge, I think that that's something that the elective process is in favor of. In fact, that's really what I'm trying to do with the database. A judgment notwithstanding the verdict means that the judge has basically seen where justice needs to be. I think there's a place for that, but also I think that that judge has a responsibility to make sure that he or she is looking out for justice as well. That's really what is going on. And justice is what the database is about. I want people to go to my website, take a look at what it really means, because really over the last 25 years, nothing has occurred in the courts. And that data, in the absence of it, we don't have an ability to know whether or not we're being treated fairly or not, or being discriminated against. I was the only judge who's so far been able to do that, along with bipartisan bipartisan Supreme Court Justice Michael Donnelly. I'm very proud of that.
How do you respond to the criticism that a Court of Appeals judge needs to have been a trial court judge first in order to understand what goes on the trial court level of the Court of Appeals?
Gosh, I mean, I think that my record speaks for itself. I have been a judge for 2 years almost now at this point. I have 33 years of experience. I've worked in the community, and I have not had a single case at all. And I share the respect of every single judge on the bench. That is another part of the thing. I fit seamlessly into the bench. We're working together. We're getting the job done. There is no reason to change horses right now.
Thank you. And for the remaining balance of time you have, can you share some additional information about yourself, specifically why we should vote for you to remain on the Court of Appeals?
Of course. Well, I am 60 years old. I've got a wife who is passionate, and I guess that's ultimately my issue. Rampel was mayor of Richmond Heights, but people wonder why I can be a Republican and she can be a Democrat, because literally, I think we need to be on both sides of the equation to be effective. And so therefore, our passions don't run to change. And like I said, I am the only, beyond just being perfect, I hope Justice Stewart understands exactly what I've tried to do in living up to being in her seat. No other judge has been able to get this issue as far as, and it is as important. Justice Michael Donnelly says it is the most important issue for equal justice out there right now. If you don't have data, you're not going to be able to get equal justice because no one will know. And that's the problem right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you spending some time with us this morning.
God bless you guys. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Take care. Okay.
You can see we're practicing social distancing, and I'm going to ask that you keep your mask on until you reach the podium. And when you reach the podium, I will introduce you. You may come forward. This morning we have Aaron Godfrey. He's running for position of the U.S. House of Representatives in the 16th District of Ohio. Mr. Godfrey, our timekeeper, Andrea Nelson Moore, will give you cues as to how much time you have left to speak. So welcome.
Thank you.
And do your thing.
Thank you.
Good morning. You will have 5 minutes to present to the membership, 1 minute for your opening, 3 minutes for question and answer, and 1 minute for your closing. I will hold up the sign at the 2-minute mark, the 1-minute mark, 30 seconds, and then when all of your time has been consumed, I will hold up the stop sign to try to help and make sure you have enough time to answer the questions. After the 1 minute, I will hold my finger up to notify our person asking the questions so that they can start their question and answer period. So whenever you are ready, you may start.
All right. Well, hello. Oh, sorry. Have it now.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Aaron Paul Godfrey. I'm running for the U.S. House for the 16th District. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you putting on this event and especially doing it so responsibly. responsibly. I'm running for the U.S. House because I'm tired of just, when I was growing up, we faced a lot of hardship. I was from a working class family, and when my dad was diagnosed with diabetes, we couldn't afford the insulin. He had to choose between insulin, the medicine to keep him alive, or food on our table and the roof over our head. And nothing has happened in the last 20 years to make that situation any better. It's wrong, and we should be demanding more out of our government. I can tell you the incumbent in this office, Anthony Gonzalez, does not care. He does not work for us. He does not worry about what happens to our Social Security. He doesn't worry about what happens to our Medicare and Medicaid. And we need an advocate in office. And just because this is a tough district doesn't mean we shouldn't have someone standing up and having our voices heard and fighting the fight to get out there and okay, I'll hold off for questions and save the rest of my closing statement.
Good morning and welcome. We appreciate you being here. First question. There has been a record number of unemployment benefit applications filed due to COVID-19. Do you support the extension of said benefits, and why, or why not?
Absolutely, and I'll say that we have not yet seen the impact of these benefits expiring. The jobs numbers that came out in August were taken at the beginning of the month before the loss of those extra benefits were taken into account or have been felt by the community at all. We have to do more of these for people who lost their jobs through no fault of their own. The federal government is the only part of the government in a position to help because they can borrow the money needed that the state and local government can't do.
Would you support or oppose increasing the health benefit amount paid to unemployed workers?
What was that?
Would you support or oppose increasing the benefit amount paid to unemployed workers?
I would probably support it because I think right now when they added that $600, they were looking at a $15 an hour minimum wage, which is something we should all be fighting for anyways. But that was a number they came up with years ago, and it still hasn't kept pace with inflation. So honestly, if I recall the numbers, it should be closer to $17 to $18 an hour. But these people who are affected by this, they didn't do anything wrong. They don't deserve to suffer. They don't deserve to lose their homes or their families because of it.
Should you be elected to the House of Representatives, what are your 3 priority goals for 21 or during your term?
Well, for any of these main goals of mine, I'll say that if I just served one term in Congress and I helped any of them pass, then my life itself would have been well lived. But top of the line is corruption. As we've seen in the last 4 years, it's rampant, and we have to take a big, bold approach to this. We have to end gerrymandering, end Citizens United, end the influence of dark money in politics, publicly financed campaigns. There's a lot we can do on that. But past that, I want to work towards a Medicare for all kind of system so everyone has health care. It's not tied to our jobs anymore. It would free the people to work in a field they may want more to work in. But if you value your job, you're less likely to make that transition. And past that, I would say my third priority is probably dealing with climate change. And this isn't probably something I put in the top 3 normally, but the western half of the country is on fire. And this is something that we over here especially don't see enough of, but is ruining lives on a daily basis. We heard about all the riots in Portland a few weeks ago. Time has no meaning anymore. It wasn't a few weeks ago. But now Portland is evacuating 500,000 people because now climate change didn't cause this event, but it's making them all worse.
Okay, last question. Other than the pandemic, the other issue that seems to be plaguing our country is a matter of racism. Would you consider racism a matter of public health?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it impacts I will never understand your experience as Black Americans, but I can't imagine how I would feel if I had to wake up in the morning and know that my kid may not come home just because of the color of their skin. If that kind of an expectation isn't a health crisis, then I don't know what is. That's deadlier than COVID. It's deadlier than most of the things I face on a daily basis. Absolutely.
Okay. The final portion of that question, should you be elected to the position that you seek, how would you present that before your colleagues to get something done for the African American community?
in just that way, we've done all these measures to protect ourselves from COVID. We've flipped society upside down in the last 6 months to try to prevent the spread of this, at least in Ohio. Some other states haven't been as responsible. But if you frame things like how many black people die from police violence every year, it's more deadly than a lot of the things we worry about on a daily basis. And like I said, if we're going to worry about heart disease as a public health crisis or diabetes as a public health crisis, then racism is absolutely on the same level as those things.
Thank you so very much. For the remaining time you have, would you like to share additional information about yourself and ask why we should support you for the position that you seek to be elected to?
Well, I'll say I know my time is limited, so I'll direct the viewers and the audience to go to my website, godfreyforcongress.com. It's GODFREY, for Congress spelled out. And you can learn more about me there. You can always email me, aaron@godfreyforcongress.com, and I'll answer all your questions myself. Ultimately, I want responsible, responsive government. We don't get that from the incumbent. Like I said, if the payroll tax holiday that Trump is trying to push, for example, will defund Medicaid and Social Security at the very least. So he hasn't said anything about that. It took him a month to respond to George Floyd's death and the unrest that followed. He hasn't, I don't think, ever mentioned Breonna Taylor's name. He doesn't care about the issues that affect this community, my community, any community across this country. He cares about his own career. And I like to say he's in the Rob Portman School of Apathy. He doesn't care about what we want, what we need, how to do his job right. He cares about keeping his job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
cooperating, and you were told to keep your mask on. However, when you get here, when I'm going to introduce you, when you get here to the podium, you may remove it in order to talk, okay? This morning we have Judge Emanuela Groves, who's running for the position of Judge, Ohio Court of Appeals, the 8th District. Judge Groves, you want to come forward?
Sure.
And when you get here, I'm going to have Andrea Nelson Moore, who is our timekeeper. She's going to give you the cues. So welcome and do your thing.
Thank you so much. Now, during this pandemic, one of the things that I thought about was that you don't have to wear lipstick because you're wearing a mask, right? So when I got ready this morning, I was serious. I didn't put on my lipstick, so please excuse me because I thought I was going to have to speak with my mask on. I want to thank the BWPAC for all that you do in our community.
Before you start,
my minute.
no, it's okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
You will have 5 minutes to present to the membership. 1 minute for your opening, 3 minutes for question and answer, and 1 minute for your closing. I will hold up the sign where there's only 2 minutes left, then again when there's only 1 minute left of your time, then again 30 seconds of your time. When it's all done, I will say stop. And what I will do to try to help keep us on schedule is once your first minute is up for your introduction, I will give Avery the cue to start asking your questions so you can answer your questions.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Excuse me, I know you are on a tight schedule, so I was trying to help keep you on the schedule. Again, I want to thank the BWPAC for all that you do in the community and the impact that you've had, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to come before you. Again, I'm Emanuela Groves, and I do want to acknowledge the person who came with me, one of my campaign managers from the hall. And today is her birthday. So I think that it speaks volumes in terms of her commitment and dedication for her to take time out of her special day to be here with me. And she has really been instrumental and for the reason that I stand here before you, along with Betty K. Pinckney and Jerry Prim. I've been a judge in the city of Cleveland for close to 20 years. It has been my commitment to impact the lives of the people that come before me and to improve the administration of justice. And I believe that I've been doing that for the last close to 20 years. As a judge, we have the power to impact and change people's lives. I believe that I've been using that power. I don't rule with a foot on the neck, but I rule with my hand out to help improve people's lives if they are willing to take it. So I thank you for the time, and now I will be glad to answer any questions.
Good morning and welcome, and thank you for being here so early, and happy birthday to your campaign manager, Ms. Hall. I'll proceed with first question. How do you respond to the fact that on your court, one panel of judges will decide a question of law one way, and another panel of judges decide the same question of law a different way?
I think that's all the more reason that you want people with diverse opinions on that court. Because the law is not black and white all the time. The longer I have practiced and the longer that I sit, there's very few instances of black and white. There's a lot of gray. I think that that's why it's important to have people to have different perspectives, and they bring with them their life experiences. They bring the perspective of what they think the law should be in their interpretation of the law, and the law evolves. I mean, if it didn't evolve, I wouldn't be able to stand here before you as a candidate. I would still be enslaved. And so the law evolves, and I think it's important to have diverse opinions. It's important that people bring their perspective. And hopefully through that, we work towards this concept of justice, because it is elusive. And I believe that I would bring that perspective.
Speaking of concept of justice, what do you perceive, or do you perceive a great obstacle to justice being leveled in the court?
Do I see an obstacle?
Is there an obstacle?
I think more and more that the media has gotten involved, I think that that's an obstacle if you don't have courage. Because sometimes there are hard decisions that need to be made, and it shouldn't be made by popular opinion. It should be made by what is right. And so I think that that is the major obstacle, is fear.
Okay. In the area of hate crimes, what are some of the issues in balancing free speech rights against the need to control offensive activity?
I think just what is offensive. You know, we now have a president who says they don't want to train on white privilege. That may be offensive to some, but it's a fact. And so I think that it is hard to censor. It's hard to say what is offensive, because what is offensive to one may be liberating to another. I think that's why it's so broad. And I think that that's why it's important to be able to have an opportunity to show the other side. And with that, we grow. We grow as individuals, and we grow as a community. And I hope with that, we become more tolerant.
Thank you. During your remaining time, would you like to share additional information to our viewing public and why we should support you as you pursue the seat of Judge on the Court of Appeals for the 8th District of Ohio?
I hope that I receive the support not only the PAC, but the voters of Cuyahoga County, because of what I bring to the table and what I've brought. I think that my record speaks for itself, the impact that I've had. Also, I teach. I create continuing education classes to bring attorneys to talk about provocative and challenging issues. When I graduated from Case Western Reserve Law School at 19 years of age, I never envisioned that I could return as a professor. And I'm thankful that it was based on not what I did in law school, because I was 19 years old still trying to grow up, but they looked at the things that I did once I left the law school, and I'm very, very proud to be able to say that I'm an adjunct professor. From where I used to sit, I now stand in the classroom. I hope that the impact that I've had in the community is representative of what I would do if given the opportunity to serve on the 8th District Court of Appeals. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for spending time with us this morning, and we look forward to future endeavors that you would be involved in the community.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your resilience and still making this happen in the midst of a pandemic. Thank you so much.
All right.
cooperating. You were told to keep the mask on. Once you reach the podium, you may take it off. I'm going to introduce you, and then when I do that, I'd like you to come forward. This morning, we have Sharon Gallagher. She is running for the position of Judge, Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas in the General Division. Come forward, please. Thank you. Now that you're here, we're going to have our timekeeper, Andrea Nelson Moore, explain to you how much time you have. So I'm sure you will respect her cues.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You will have 5 minutes to present to the membership, 1 minute for your opening, 3 minutes for question and answer, and then 1 minute for your closing. I will hold up the cues when there's only 2 minutes left of your time, when there's only 1 minute left of your time, and when there's 30 seconds left of your time. When the time has already all been consumed, I will put up the stop sign. And what I will also do to try to help us stay on task after your first minute, I will kind of put my finger up so that I can cue the person who's going to be asking you the questions to begin her questions. Okay?
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Whenever you're ready, you may start.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Shannon Gallagher, and I am currently in my last year of my first term as a Common Pleas Court Judge for the General Division. I am up for re-election this year, and it is with a great deal of humility and hope that I am here to ask for the endorsement of the Black Women's Political Action Committee. During my time on the bench, I have adopted a mental health, developmental disabilities docket, and that has given me more joy than I ever thought possible. I really feel like I'm doing the work of making good change for people suffering with serious mental illness or developmental disabilities. We have the ability to provide services and connect individuals as well as their families with community health providers to give some stability, some structure, and individualized wraparound services to allow people to have a better chance at success. So again, thank you very much for having me here, and I welcome any questions.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
First question. Sentencing is a very big issue in common pleas court. Some judges routinely sentence defendants for a very long prison term, while other judges do not. What is your philosophy on sentencing, and do you consider your sentencing fair?
Thank you very much for that question. So I don't have, my overall philosophy is to look at the individual. This is somebody's son, father, mother, and I am seeing that person for the worst moments of their lives, not for who they are as an individual. And that's what drives my sentencing. I think it would be no secret that I am more of a community-based sentencing proponent. I really believe in the idea of keeping people as local as possible, putting people on probation with wraparound services as often as possible. Now, there are some circumstances where, to protect the public, which I am sworn to do, you have to send somebody to prison. There are just some crimes that it's the only appropriate sentence. But when I do that, I am always cognizant of what that means. I have a family member that served a federal prison sentence. I sat in a courtroom while that person was sentenced. I know the weight of that. I always keep that in my head when I'm imposing a sentence, because this person is going to have a life outside of that institution. And the longer people are in an institution, the worse it is for them on the outside, and the greater the chance of recidivism. So I try to always balance all of those factors when imposing a sentence.
Thank you. Now, our organization believes that voluntary professional community service is a necessary commitment for all judges. What forms of voluntary professional and community service have you been involved in and are currently involved in?
Thank you. Right now, I am on 2 boards of drug and alcohol addiction. I am the president of the board of the Absolute House. It's on Harvard, but on the other side. and also the Ed Keating Center on West 117th Street. Initially, when I ran for judge, it was because I wanted to work in a drug court, because that was what I was most familiar with. Seeing people with addiction, watching them come through on the other side, it's a great joy. And so that's why I continue that work, even though I don't have a drug court docket. I'm working with mental health. It's a constant reminder that we are all just one moment away, or one slip up away from losing everything, because I've seen people go through these houses that have law degrees and very successful members of the community who've lost it all because of addiction. And that's not a personal failure. That's not a moral weakness. That's somebody who just needs a little bit of help. And that's something that I like to be able to do, and I continue to do it.
Thank you. Can you utilize the remaining portion of your time to share some additional information about yourself, and that would help us to give the public, viewing public, more information about supporting you as you pursue the bench again, running for judge again?
Thank you. So I am married. I have 3 children. They are 8, 6, and 5. We are in the middle of virtual schooling, which is very struggling. But it's the struggle that we are all working through. It's been a joy to be able to serve the community on the bench. It's something I hope to continue to do. It's my hope that I can earn that support from the public and from your committee. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you for cooperating. We're practicing social distancing, as you can very well see, and thank you. I'm going to introduce you, and when I call your name, I'd like for you to approach the podium, and you can remove your mask at that time. This morning, I'd like to introduce Laverne Gore. She is running for position of the United States House of Representatives in the 11th District of Ohio. Ms. Gore, would you like to come forward? And you may remove your mask. Before you start, our timekeeper, Andrea Nelson-Moore, is going to explain your time. So we ask that you will respect that, and you may go forward.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, and yourself.
Very good, thank you.
So you will have 5 minutes to present to the membership, 1 minute for your opening, 3 minutes for question and answers, and 1 minute for your closing. I will hold up my cue signs when there's only 2 minutes of your time remaining, then when there's 1 minute of your time remaining, then 30 seconds of your time remaining.
So talk fast.
Well,
Sounds good.
all right, and whenever you're ready, you may start.
Good morning. My name is Laverne Gore. I am asking for your vote for the 11th District Congress. One of the things I can suggest to you is, I grew up in the city of Cleveland on 92nd and Huff. We moved to 93rd and Woodland. I graduated from the Cleveland Public School Systems, John Adams High School. I left John Adams High School and went on to the Claremont Colleges, where I received my degree in Organizational Development Economics. I have my MPH in Public Health, with minority group populations as my specialty. master's in education for adult learning and development. One of the things I think that we should be focused on here, and I thought about what I was going to say. My ambition is to satisfy my God. The election that took place in the primary, when I went to sleep, I didn't win. I hadn't won. I didn't think I had, but I went to sleep comfortable, knowing that the commitment I made to my God to help my people was going to be intact, whether I won or lost. I woke up and my son told me you had won. So I knew that I had to continue the journey that God had placed me on. I assure you, you will not have a candidate that will fight harder for you in the House of Representatives.
Good morning and welcome. We appreciate you being here. What would be your first 3 goals to accomplish should you be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives?
First of all, I am a Republican. Knowing that says that the Republican Party does not have any African American women in the entire party represented on the Hill. My ambition for the 11th district, you do know we are encompassed by one of the most impoverished districts in America. We also have high illiteracy ratios here. We also have high infant mortality ratios here. We also have a population that is very, very much stimulated by those that have been incarcerated. So I can't pick 3, I can tell you those 4. Illiteracy, decreasing infant mortality, so that's healthcare, and that's also my specialty. But more importantly, what we have is a community of African American men who have been incarcerated. And they've been incarcerated, and therefore they are considered and labeled non-productive individuals in American society. I think we need to focus on what's important here. We need to focus on housing. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to drive through the 11th district and see that we have serious problems that have not been addressed. The current leadership has had time to address those issues, and we still have escalated infant mortality. We have escalated unemployment in our community while a nation is doing well. Now, many people, I want to bring this up. We were on Facebook the other day and somebody said, you're a Republican, but you don't dislike Democrats. Well, to me, Democrats in the 11th district are the lifeblood of the community. I did switch my parties in 08. I switched my parties because we had an historic election. It wasn't for the advantage. We had an historic election. We elected a black president, and not only did I do it, I switched my party and I got dressed up with gloves, hats, and all 7 of my sisters and I went to the polls to do something that we didn't think could happen in our lifetime. That's almost like where I'm at right now, being a Republican in the 11th district. Yes, this big tattoo on my body gives us all a frame of reference as to who I am. Growing up in the inner city gives us a frame of reference as to who I will do. But my commitment to God, because I told him that if he let me out and help my son through a very traumatic situation for our family, I would give back to my community because he has been so good to me. So good to me in every aspect. And you will not find somebody that will be more committed to a community than you will be. But again, win or lose, I will have satisfied my commitment to my Lord. And that's what's important to me, because I don't need the money. So my commitment to God, and that commitment will make me the best congresswoman that this district has ever had, and we will see change, and we will see those numbers drop. We will see those numbers in our community become real, because we haven't had that. But if the ballot says Democrat or Republican, and you choose that, that's up to the community. But my God knows my intent.
Thank you so very much for your passionate response to my question. Would you share with us some additional information about yourself and why our viewing public should support and vote for you as you run for the United States House of Representatives?
Of course. One of the things that I can suggest to you is, the thing is, this, growing up in poverty, and you know, everybody gets up and says that because I didn't know that I was in poverty when I was growing up on 92nd and up. Because I had a mom, I had a dad, and we didn't know that my father putting those bikes together meant something. We just knew we had a bike at Christmas. One of the things we didn't know was when the lights got turned off, it was because my parents couldn't pay. But my father made a game out of it with the candles. Many people think that what we're going through right now is something different. Racism is real. Racism is real in our community. And it's 200 years of a situation that we have to overcome. I can be that person, and I thank you.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, you got to put the mask on.
I'm going to do it. Let me get it right. And stop that camera while I get it right.
Keeping your mask on, and we're going to ask that when you get here to the podium, then you may remove it. I'd like to introduce to you this morning Cheryl Stevens. She's running for the position sought for Cuyahoga County Council District 10. Ms. Stevens, come forward. Once you get here, you may take your mask off, and I'm going to ask that our timekeeper, who is Andrea Nelson Moore, will give you all the cues you need for the time that you will be able to use. And thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. As you know, I am a longstanding member of the Black Women's Political Action Committee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So before you start, let's go over the ground rules. We have 1 minute to present to the membership.
Yes.
1 minute for your opening, 3 minutes for a question and answer, and 1 minute for your closing. I will hold up my signs when we only have 2 minutes left, and again when you have 1 minute left and 30 seconds left. Then when the time is all been elapsed, I will hold up the stop sign, and just to make sure that we stay on track, after your first minute, I will hold up one finger to let you know that I am queuing Avery to begin her question and answer period. Okay?
Thank you.
You may start whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I have been a longstanding member and supporter of the Black Women's Political Action Committee. I am involved and engaged, and I have a track record of being the kind of person who understands what our community needs. You don't always see me because I'm out with my constituents. I represent a district that covers Brattonwall, wards 8 and 10 of Cleveland, East Cleveland, Cleveland Heights, and University Heights. But more importantly, because I am on county council, we are engaged in things that support people all across Cuyahoga County. Thank you for inviting me to speak this morning.
Thank you and welcome. We're happy to have you here this morning. There are a lot of issues that are facing Cuyahoga County, specifically the African American community. What initiatives, legislation, or committees have you been the driver in to aim not only to raise awareness, but solve key issues affecting the African American community?
I have a lifelong commitment to community and economic development. And community and economic development are umbrellas for many issues that are incredibly important. Recently, I have been a driver in the Community Development Committee for making sure that lenders are more aware of what they need to do to help Americans build wealth, especially Americans of color and women. We find that there's racial discrimination going on with lending, but with coaching, most of our banks can do better. So the committee, the council chair and I of the Economic Development Committee, I'm vice chair, we have worked to create a task force that will be advising county council on how to get the big lenders to do better across the community. We have 13 points of engagement, and we've requested that 8 community groups, 3 mayors, the mayor of Lakewood, the mayor of Maple, and the mayor of South Euclid, participate with us in guiding first Key Bank and then other lenders to work more in our communities to help build one of the most important pillars of the American dream, helping people own homes of their own, because that is the key for most Americans to build wealth. Outside of your pension savings, owning a home is how you help your kids go to college, how you help take care of your family, taking that home equity loan out, and last but not least, when you mature and decide you can no longer live in that home, you sell it and it helps your retirement years be better. So there's nothing better than helping make sure that African Americans build wealth of their own.
With the current COVID-19 concern we have in the community, what actions has county council taken in order to safeguard the community as well as the policies and procedures that are imposed in coordination with the state?
We've been pretty aggressive in trying to make sure that when you come to visit us first at the simple level, that you're safe. But as you know, we've received millions of dollars from the federal government to help protect our staff, to also provide personal protection equipment for safety services individuals, and to also provide them to our families that do not make enough money to go out and buy boxes of the materials. But one of the things that I'm proudest of is that I initiated, because the food bank is in my district, an additional commitment from Cuyahoga County to the food bank to make sure that we do not run short of food opportunities for the residents who've been laid off from their jobs or had their hours reduced. Because in America, no one should go to bed hungry. And so I'm proud to say that I went to the president of the food bank and said, how can we help? She said we could use another $200,000, because one day when we expected 600 families, we had 1,300 families. And so that's the kind of commitment I bring. I'm not waiting for somebody. I'm out there asking on behalf of my residents. Thank you.
Councilwoman Stevens, in the last remaining portion of your time, can you share additional information about yourself, your passions, that would, for the viewing public, for them to know who you are and identify why you want to support you as you pursue a second term on county council?
So everyone has a friend who has their back. I'm her for my constituents. Whatever you need, I can't do everything for everybody, but I believe in key issues like public safety, affordable housing, food services that take care of everyone, and taking care of our children. Those 4 priorities of mine have been mine forever. I will stay on them, but occasionally there are things I don't know that my constituents have to share with me. And don't hesitate to call or email me to make sure that I understand those issues. I want to thank you for your time, and remember, I will take care of business whether you see me everywhere. I'm considering what you need and working hard on those issues. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Sarah.